So I hear a lot of gym bros complaining about their nervous system. They say that they are in the process of burning out their CNS, or that they already have fatigued it to the point of no return. And when I hear these comments, I really have to question what these gym bros are doing, because last I checked, most of them are absolutely not running high frequency, high intensity programs, nor are they going heavy, nor are they using the max effort method. Most people just run a basic system, whether it be an upper lower, or push-pull legs, a full body 2-3 times a week. Simple progressive overloading strategies, and that's about it. Most of these people do not train like competitive athletes. Most people aren't doing high frequency deadlifts. Most people aren't going really heavy, doing dead stop training, explosive training. Most of these people don't train intense enough for this to be an issue. And that's just a reality. You see, what these people call nervous system fatigue is them making up excuses. It's an excuse for most of these people because they seriously do not train hard enough for this to be a problem. See, if you've never done a Bulgarian type setup or like a very high frequency, high intensity program, you have no idea what this actually entails, all right? That's when you'll really understand what it means to be fucking fried to the point where you have trouble walking, you have trouble moving, you have trouble getting out of bed, you're just tired all the goddamn time. You'll understand this when you run a high frequency, high intensity program. But if you're just training in a regular type of fashion, even using concurrent periodization, this should not be a problem. And when people do have these problems, despite the fact that they are not training heavy, it's very simple. What they are experiencing is overuse, because they've been doing the same shit over and over and over again, as well as the biological law of accommodation. And that, my friends, is why periodization is very important, okay? Because if you don't change the parameters, meaning the sets, the reps, percentages, etc., or rotate the exercise, you suffer from overuse and the biological law of accommodation. So your body starts feeling absolutely terrible, your strength starts going down, and you think that you burnt out your CNS, when it might have just been like a little bit of overreaching due to faulty programming. So that said, my friends, these gym bros are literally making excuses because they don't train hard enough for this to be a problem. And the ones that do have issues is because their programming is just that bad. You can't override the biological law of accommodation through nutrition and sleep. Bottom line, if you're doing a 1 rep max flat bench for 4 weeks straight, all the goddamn time, you're gonna have a plateau and eventually you're gonna regress in strength. You will suffer from overuse. That's what happens when you don't train the proper way. And a lot of these gym bros don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Now, I have no problems with instinctive type of training. Okay, periodization is not essential per se, but most of these gym bros don't have the instinct to train correctly. They're not informed enough to do this the proper way. So what they're actually experiencing is nothing more than an excuse. They feel a little bit tired and, oh, I'm not gonna train. Oh, I'm not gonna go heavy. It's bullshit for most of these people, okay? If you really want to know what it means to feel fatigued as hell, do a short-term Bulgarian training cycle. And then at the end of it, you will never make excuses ever again. You're gonna be like, shit, what I was experiencing before, definitely not the same thing, okay? So stop, okay? And also, I want to talk about the max effort method as well. Even when we use the max effort method, this still should not be a problem. Because at the beginning of this video, I said that most of these gym bros aren't doing max effort or high frequency, right? Which is true. But even if they did do it, it shouldn't be a problem if they rotate the exercise. Now, the problem that a lot of gym bros have is that their egos are high. So they want to do the same shit over and over again. They want to do the regular workout, and then they want to max out on the flat bench while having a bunch of spotters next to them. That's the issue. They're not implementing the max effort method correctly. So it's not that singles are bad. It's not that going at 90% is bad. It's not that doing 3 sets of 3 or triples and 5s is bad. It's that people aren't implementing it correctly into their programs, which causes overuse and the biological law of accommodation. That's really what it is. And on a final note, I want to discuss work capacity. You see, when you become stronger, your work capacity must also raise, because if it does not, you will be unable to handle the volume of the workout. And volume, my friends, is essential to getting bigger and stronger. Total workload. You have to increase it over time. That's what distinguishes the weak lifters from the strong lifters. It's total workload. And if you have really bad work capacity because you've never done conditioning work in your life, or your programming is just so bad that doesn't include anything that raises it, well, you're gonna have some problems and you're gonna feel fatigued when you go to the gym. You're gonna be halfway done your workout and you're gonna feel like passing out, like throwing up. And it's not that your nervous system is broken down, it's that your work capacity is fucking garbage. So what you need to do is clean up your diet. Stop having foods that cause all kinds of inflammation and make you feel lethargic and disgusting and all that, right? You have to sleep more to make sure that everything is recovering the proper way. When you're sleep deprived, your work capacity is not as high. And you have to do conditioning work. Do some GPP. And I guarantee you that you're gonna stop complaining. So again, I'm not saying that this isn't a problem for some lifters. This can certainly occur as you become more advanced and you're lifting really, really heavy, especially on a Bulgarian setup. I would say if you're running Bulgarian, you are at the highest risk imaginable. If it's a standard concurrent, I would say the risk is far less. The only issue that you can experience is the biological law of accommodation, but that can be remedied with correct programming. So in other words, if you train the proper way, whether you're using max effort method or not, if you train correctly, you will not have overuse and you will not have the biological law of accommodation, and your work capacity will be on point. When you have these three things, you won't be complaining about your CNS anymore. Trust me, I've been maxing out for over 3 years now. Never had these issues that people are talking about. The only time I feel really drained is if it's high frequency, high intensity. And again, most people aren't going to train like this. So let's stop with the excuses, gym bros. Let's get back to the real truth. So that said, hope you enjoyed this segment. Give me your feedback down below and I will talk to you all next time.